evolutionary animal nature, which is utterly based on competition and violence. Does that sound like a religion? And that's the religion of the world. The Big Bang in Hebrew actually means male ejaculation.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all very sexual. And then you got black holes, you got supernovas spreading their nuclear seminal material. They say the Earth is formed from chunks of asteroids that came together, but it's actually not physically possible for that to happen. Do you know why? Because the bigger the chunks hitting each other, they just keep pulverizing each other. There's no way they would start sticking. There's just physics doesn't allow for it. They got too much momentum, too much mass. There's no way you could get random chunks of crapola are just going to start turning into a big crapazoid in space. It's not possible. So everything to do with man's genesis in space and in time is total bullshit. At the very least, people should just say we don't know. You know, we don't know. You don't like. You could make up a theory probably better than all the theories of origin in the world. You know, I believe that everything came from a stone. I think blood actually came from a stone. Yeah, that's what created the world. That a stone formed in these vast ethers, kind of celestial water, and it made a sound, and then blood came from it, and the world started growing around the stone, and that was the earth. And that's the sound, and that song of that first stone is still producing everything in the earth, just like our sound of our voices produces words. The sound of that stone produced the heavens and the earth. And that's my theory of creation. It's simple, it's effective, and it involves stones. You can see them everywhere. You can throw them at someone. You know what I mean? It's like, that's better to me. That's my creation story. And you could build the entire world on that. I mean, blood comes from our bones. Why can't it come from the stones?
Yeah.
Maybe the stones were our first bones. Anyway, I just gave you a bit of a master's thesis there, but it's the middle of the afternoon and I'm not really done yet. But that's good. Were you guys going to go for a walk or something?
I want him to wake up. I keep trying to get him to wake up.
I don't think he's going to. That guy's just dead to the world.
I know, but he's going to be up all night.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So I'll get up and get him in the night. He just seems like he's been sleeping a long time.
Yeah.
I just want to check and make sure he's still alive.
Yeah, he's so good.
But hold it. I don't understand your logic. Is it the more he sleeps, the more likely he's going to get up at night? Don't you want to wake him up so that he sleeps at night?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to wake him up so he
Oh, okay,
will
okay.
sleep
I
tonight.
misread you. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to stir him? He's not going to bite me.
If you want to.
I'm pretty good at it. Here, let me. I like it. I mean, I don't ever do it on purpose, but this time I like to come up and just hang out with him. I like to read his mind. Hey, buddy, what are you dreaming about? Hey? What are you dreaming? I think he's actually half awake already. He's just laying there. Yeah, he's half awake. He's already half awake.
Oh, look at
He's
you.
really just napping. See?
You're a lazy little boy.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, look, he's moving his legs. He's very alert, actually. You want to go for a walk so you're not sleeping all night?
Yeah, don't let him go back to sleep. That's it. Come on, let's go. I'll get his leash out. Then he gets the idea.
Yeah, but oh.
Let's get the little leash out. Now, is it really hot outside, or should I wear
It's quite humid and hot, yeah. You could wear a t-shirt probably, but bring a sweater, maybe around your hips.
I think I will wear this one. Yeah. I like to be warm. Buddy, let's go. Where's my buddy? A nice little body.
Well, maybe when you say, "Where's my buddy?" he thinks you're blind. Where's my money? Where are you? I can't see you. He probably thinks you can't see.
Well, he can't see.
I'm here.
That's
I'm
what
here,
he
Laurie.
understands that. He understands that.
Come on. Come on. Oh, there we go.
Buddy,
oh.
bud.
Oh.
Come on.
There we go.
Buddy, let's go.
Come on. Oh. 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 There we go. Put his leash on if you want.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
Oh, he doesn't choose.
Oh, I don't want to lose some momentum.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I need my shoes. I need my shoes.
For what?
Come on, you. Okay, let's go.
What?
Legs. I believe my phone.
You got your keys?
Now.
Need your phone? Oh, okay. I guess you have to do it. Oh, my goodness. What do you know? Oh my goodness. I'll have to hopefully take a shit soon. I'm so sorry. Holy fuck. That's my day. I mean, fuck. Oh. So I'm able to kind of address certain things in a more academic way without saying, hey, fuck you. You know, she's listening to me. I'm not saying anything personal. I'm just talking about the world. I'm applying my philosophy. Telling this woman, this sort of violent human being, things that to stimulate the mind in its processes. And that in itself, that conversation, right? But you'll notice too, she's finally left, that, oh, I gotta turn his lights off. Right? The violence, which also came from outside the house, came into her through a basic level of fear about her body and control over men, and feeling like a man was going to be dominant or criticize her about a body image that's probably been altered by an inappropriate male or female parent, and the like. So, and this was like the secrecy, like I said, like the last couple of days I've noticed in the buildup of this hostility, a sense of secrecy. I'm talking, she's not telling, and it's like, why don't be open? And so it's like, hey, and look at the trouble I have to go through because this person has an insecurity, and it's more, just like lesbianism is more than just sex with women. That insecurity, that fundamental insecurity, which drives so much violence, can seem like something so simple, based on an utter fear of men on the one hand, and also a very habitual capacity, a very well-worn capacity to find reasons where that fears need to be protected in order to project them onto men, and it just starts a slippery slope of being extremely inappropriate. Because the more those appetites reach out, the less satisfied they are, and so they tend to become inflamed. When I've talked to someone in situations, say when I'm being sexually assaulted, there was a manager that was talking to me and had a really negative agenda toward me and was behaving inappropriately. Just wasn't handling the situation correctly. And to be fair, the women involved were also very mentally ill. So you get a lot of mentally ill people. And in the final, after weeks and weeks of being sexually harassed, I come in and talking to him, it was clear that not only was he not doing anything, but it was actually emulating their behavior, making me more uncomfortable and more unable to shop there. It was exactly what I already felt. And sure enough, my anger escalated, because I clearly wasn't going to get anything I wanted. So I wanted him to know how badly this felt, because and during the conversation, I said, "Can you empathize with this person? Can you empathize with me because of this? I mean, can I be safe in the store?" Asking over and over. It's like, this is not good, and these women are assaulting me, and just unable to really empathize, unable to actually to reason, to see that if you have no evidence of one thing, and you're not willing to come to a conclusion, how come based on no evidence you're willing to come to a conclusion that's negative to this person, right? Who shopped here for 12 years without incident, and so on, and just not thinking in their mind at all. So you see, and it creates so much violence. And it may just be a personal insecurity. It may be that he had a romantic interest in one of the women involved, or other women in the store, because I know over time he seemed to be quite intimidated by me. So, and these men in the store are basically working around young women all day, many of whom make oogly eyes at me, which, by the way, I'm very glad not to be around anymore. It's just like, what a waste of my time. But so you see that that I got to the root in talking to him. Sure, every time she's violent, it's like, oh, it's just this, and it's nothing to do with me, nothing to do with me at all. And then she doesn't understand the extent of her violence. But the good thing is that I got her talking, I got her listening. She's not hostile. If she can listen to me talk about that stuff, and she's responding, she's saying, hey, this is actually stimulating to my intellect, right? Then that's good. That's positive. Our home is a more positive place. And I could feel as I was sitting here before I put the camera down and as we were talking, that the energy changed. I still have to deal with the results of the violence, but even my body's feeling a bit better. Hopefully I'll go to the bathroom at some point, and so on and so on. But look at how much time I have to put into that. Whereas another person in my position might just say, fuck off and just leave, right? For what reason? For what reason at the end of the day? Right? You take the seed of an insecurity, and then you add all kinds of hostility. And it's a lot of, in violence that I've seen, it's usually just people's strange hostilities. Strange insecurities. Some of which I related to my mother just now. And older woman once, just a vulgar sociopath asked me to have sex with her, just over a coffee table one night. And she's like 20 years older than me. And it was just so, if she could ever see a video of my response, because they don't really pay attention, and look at my body language, and I would say, if someone asked me on camera, like, how did you feel about that, just to give her some feedback, I would say, repulsive. Absolutely repulsive to me. Like, my skin fucking crawled. It's just a repulsive proposition in every way. Makes me shudder to think of it. And I wonder what they would feel. You would think, well, they're probably not going to feel good about that, are they? But it's not sexual. It's the person isn't paying attention to anyone. They're missing out on life while trying to live it. They're missing out on life. And it's okay not to always see people's feelings, and not to be able to tune in to the person you're talking to. And you might say, in the course of that, the happenstance of your daily life, I mean, how many people, but that's just it. People are so busy, though. The people that should be tuned into, the times that there should be to tune into people, never come. And I meet people like this woman, no matter how many times she's met me, she never once tuned into me at all, in any way. And then clearly, by the time you're getting to a sexual proposition, you're seeing someone, like I said, like epiphanically through the entire timeline, might as well have just been nobody. I mean, they've wasted their own time, they've wasted my time. They're like I said to my mom, there are people who they shouldn't. They should have something else to do with their time. And this was a nurse, and I meet many people who've been in these strongly institutional professions. They accomplish a great deal, but the amount and the nature of the working conditions and the amount of the hours is clearly leaving a lot of these people in not only some profoundly distressed, but in an extraordinarily dislocated state of mind, where not only can they not tune in to a lot of people, they never do. And they never have to. And I may seem very antisocial, I don't have any friends. These people, they always have friends, but they're more antisocial than I am. Like, psychopaths are way more social than I am. right? When you meet children who are, they say they're introverted, introversion isn't really a thing, but they end up saying they're introverted. People say they're introverted when they encounter the demands of extroversion, which is to become introverted and then to move into extroversion, or to become an introverted extrovert is to become a psychopath, right? You're talking about two different types of mind entirely. How can you be an introverted extrovert? How can you be an extrovert? You can't be the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system are very different in their operation, but very compatible. But I don't see any reason why we have to have two parts of our mind or two different personalities to accommodate things that are a particular imperative for us to do or be, and things that are a particular imperative for us to restore, regenerate, and digest. Once you start drawing lines between being an extrovert and being an introvert, wow, that's saying that the demands upon you are so extensive that you find an entire continuum of your being is basically spent recovering from being easily and completely drained by your proximity to other people, which is the so-called introvert, right? And the demands of life are so much that people, and the difficulty in introspection and what it may reveal is so trying that many people are equally commended to being utterly exteriorized. In fact, only ever finding themselves replenished from being around other people. And that is the extrovert. And both of those people are actually suffering from trauma. And again, something that Dr. Arthur Janoff actually got into, not in so many words, but I'm elaborating. Knowledge should grow, and then someone could take what I'm saying and then you could apply that to areas I never even considered, right? Knowledge should grow, should be a living thing. Anyway, I spent the entire day and never talked about my penis until just now. God, my stomach hurts a little bit. Not too much, but it's just like, fuck. The stress. I just want to go to bed. Like, I just can't wait until night comes along. Go for a little walk. My mom comes back, maybe I'll go for a walk and just get the fuck out of here. Shit, it's been such a stressful day. And I had to come home. I had to be here. We had to have that discussion. Do you realize if I hadn't been here today, if I just fucked off, I would never ever have known what caused all that hostility. And I would have added absolutely no knowledge as to why my mother chose to fucking beat me down again. What her violence has done. But you can see, like, the violence has a history. And then it's like, hopefully over time, like, I don't know, she'll change. It's like I'm giving her some intellectual nutrition today. So I really brought my day home, which is what I've been thinking I should do. I should be around my mom, and I should bring my life home and around her. So today we did that because I had to. I mean, I don't know why she wasn't getting the dog out of bed. She was like, "Why don't you wake up, buddy?" It's like, well, he might sleep, he might not sleep through the night. And then what I heard her saying, she said kind of the opposite of what then I realized it's like, that's kind of nonsense. It's like, if you wake him up, he might not sleep through the night. I thought, oh, really? It's like, no, if you wake him up, he's more likely to sleep through the night. I don't think she really knew what she was saying. And I've had my mom talk sometimes the last little while over time. And it's not like she's like neurologically damaged. It's just that she speaks kind of nonsense sometimes, like backwards. And that's why people that are psychopathic speak sometimes an opposite language. She told me that a 16-year-old girl was sleeping in the building when really it was like a man. And it was like details just change in her mind. I think that part of that is becoming such a good pathological liar. Where there's no interest, one cannot sustain a coherence of information. And certainly it passes through one or two psychopaths. How accurate is it going to be? But she knows exactly how to get eye surgery, and she's been thinking about it for years and never mentioned it to me. And she didn't need to, but it's like, if it's between that and attacking me, I'd rather you just talk to me. And it's like, oh my god, I didn't sleep last night. It's like being raped. It's like, holy fuck. And I talked to her a little bit about my life and, a basis for, not living necessarily the way anyone else does. and looking at human pain and outcomes. There's so many people that are working that shouldn't, that are becoming more a burden to societies. And I've met people in uniforms that, like, you're not doing anything by working. There's so many people in jobs who know it, who are out there working, and so many people they're working with are just lazy slobs, and they're just there for a check, and they don't even want to be there. Like, it's just mindless. So there are people with jobs who might as well not have one, you know. And because if my mom gets violent, she tends to make very, very inappropriate remarks about my lifestyle and about living with her, as though that is the absolute bottom of the barrel, and forgetting that we're actually coexisting, you know. Um, so that I'm paying rent and coexisting, and that I am in fact of other uses besides just raping me, you know. Um, you know, she's getting mad at me based on a sense that I'm basically like every man she's ever known, at least her father. And I find in psychotic women, I'm like, whatever their fathers have fucking done to them, man, it's just like, it's so much shadow territory. They'll never get to it. You see these psychopaths walking around like the lady who tried to have sex with me, and they have no self-knowledge whatsoever. And what they have is incredible rage, incredible anger. And whether they ever contact it or they just keep spreading it around them as evenly as possible in the loveless love which they spread to the world around them. And people don't need to be around people so much. They don't need to go love people and hug people and this, that. People just want to be in their homes with the people they trust and be able to, like, feel that whatever their healing or their occupation in this world, that it's truly part of something great. And they can relax, and they have ways that they know that they can agree upon to make life easier for each other in a way that addresses, and it has to, all of not just the physical but psychic and emotional aspects of being a human being, relative to everything that we know our environment has been to us socially and naturally, and able to question all of the common assumptions of the world around us, which is hopelessly and utterly deceitful. And I described to my mom when she said, "Oh, you're like a child," and I said, "Well, let's look at what's like a child in the world and why." And that aspects of being a child that have to stay with us our whole lives, because there are aspects about a child that are actually have an extraordinary capacity for morality and abstract thinking that's often basically baffled by bullshit. You can give someone too much of anything and then they just lose their taste for it and become overly emotionally identified for inflexible ways of somehow calculating the worth of their labor with respect to how war continually seems to relieve people of all of the products of their labor and their sex, for that matter.